So, stick with me for a second, and let me set this up for you. What games do you tend to associate with the cold, dark months of late fall and winter? Those frosty nights from October to the first brave blooms of spring. For me, it's Game Boy games. I'm not talking about the latter day Game Boy Color titles either, like Oracle of Seasons or Pokemon Crystal. Those are firmly a spring or early summer vibe. I'm talking about the original gray cartridges for the big gray brick itself. This wasn't always the case. It's actually a bit of a later tradition for me, having started in high school. The Poke Special manga, Link's Awakening, all those during those cold nights after school had let out, but before my parents came home from work, it was a vibe that even then I knew I'd hold on to forever. So why this game? Which I only experienced and grew to love on a balmy late summer day 5 months ago after spending the entire weekend marathoning the Teal Mask. As I record this, it's a toasty 28 degrees Fahrenheit here. This is the winter night that I've described. As it stands, my life trajectory has shifted rapidly in the last few years, and professionally, I'm taking very large steps in a matter of days. What better time to celebrate the end of a life arc than treating it like any other winter night, and playing one of my favorite games on the system that most symbolizes one? Greetings and salutations. My name is Comic Fire, lowercase c, never capitalized, and I'm here to take you on a journey of magic, swords, sorcery, technology, past and future, scarlet and violet. So come, and let us traverse this saga together. Welcome to Let's Play Final Fantasy Legend 2! So did you like that dramatic little entrance I did? Thought it'd be a fun little way to, start this off. It's been a while since I've really done much of anything, LP-wise solo, and I figured I needed a little something to work me back into it, so apologies. Or if you liked it, you're welcome. Anyway, welcome to Final Fantasy Legend 2. Let's get started. What's all this about, then? Magi, huh? Symbol of great power, the legacy of the ancient gods who made this world. Many fight for the mighty power. Some fought. Some... oh, Jesus. Many fought for it. Some won, some failed, as wars tend to go. But now, a new legend is about to begin. A new saga, if you will.
Get it? Because this game is called Saga in Japan, and then after 3, they just started calling it Saga here in general.
Anyway. So, first things first, we're going to choose the race of our main character. This would probably be a little more helpful if I'd gone through the first game, but I will quickly go through the benefits of the race that I will choose at the beginning, which is Mutant Female. So the way mutants work is that they can randomly gain, they can mutate, so to speak. They're called espers in Japan, and that was more because they were more different in Final Fantasy Legend 1. Now they can randomly gain powers, but not lose them as easily. And human and mutants gain stats in a similar way compared to the first game, where the whole saga traditional style of do this action to gain this stat was more of just a mutant trait. Now it's shared with the humans. Now humans will gain stats more quickly, but I think mutants overall are still probably the more useful race here. So I'm going to go for a mutant female. The difference between male and female is that males innately have more strength, females innately have more agility. It's not a huge difference, so don't be too concerned. You can make up the difference really fast. But I think agility is far more important, so I'd say go for the female. In addition, they start with different spells, and males start with ice, and females start with fire. Ice is much more useful, but I don't know. I also like this sprite more. I think it's cute. I think it's nice. Now, what shall I name this? Let's here, we'll go for something a little obvious. Now, you can only have 4 characters here, so I'm going to shorten Erica into Eri. Perfect. You just hit select to keep going further there. Nice hat, Dad. Is it Dad? Is it Father? I just want the truth, man. Oh, bye, Dad. It's just like real life. No. Like, your dad's just like leaving, and like you're just so like used to it that you're like, yeah, whatever. I'm going back to sleep. Fuck off. And we get a prism. Not sure what it could be, but we'll find out rapidly. Not sure why leaving is capitalized there. I guess this must be, I mean, it kind of looks like Indiana Jones. Treasure and adventure just calls to him. And out the window he goes. Oh well, I'm sure he'll be back soon, right? He promised. And years later. Great, now I'm an adult, and I still don't have a father. But so you were just totally fine with it? It's like, yeah, whatever. I guess I don't have a husband anymore. The text advances pretty slowly naturally, and I don't think there's a menu option to make it go any faster, so occasionally I would just press A to zhuzh through the text a little faster. About to say, she's been basically alone all this time. What's one more missing family member, huh? Well, you're kicking me out of the house pretty fast, jeez. Go to school and tell Mr. S you're dropping out. This is just Hunter x Hunter. Except this came first. By a large margin, actually. Oh, great. You gotta drop out of school and your evangelist teacher hits you with a good old religious lesson. The form of Magi, huh? Ah! 77 of the buggers, huh? That's gotta be an adventure, isn't it? You can make a... Yeah, we're just building a holy gunplay. Is it gunplay or gunpla? I'm never sure. I could look it up literally right now. But I'm going to let you do it, viewers. It's an interactive thing. Oh, great. What a... This is an awfully big, responsibility for one little adventure. Yeah, make enough of a ruckus and your dad'll try to stop you. Cool. What a coincidence. Not a coincidence. What a useful Magi. Our buddies. Oh yeah, we got a bunch of kids that don't want to go to school. Cool. So now we can pick out the rest of our party members. Generally, I'd say that for the beginner, what they really want you to do is probably to pick out one human, one mutant, one robot, and one monster. But I'm not going to do that, because I don't intend to use humans in this playthrough. I'm going to do what I did with my first playthrough, which was one mutant, me, two robots, and one monster. So let's get picking the robots. We are going to name the robots after something that I've been pretty into recently, because I'm going to build them in certain ways that I feel fit here. So this robot is going to be named Toki. I got a second robot. The next name is significantly larger, so I'm just going to put the last 4 characters of it, like a good old social security number. So here we've got Squiskar. And next, we're going to pick out a monster. I'll explain how robots function, because they work much differently than the rest of these guys. As do, monsters, really. Mutants and humans are kind of just, like, the same flavor with a couple bigger differences. Like, they're not as different as they were in the first game, but... Monsters are a whole other beast, though they function exactly the same as they did in the first game, so we're gonna pick out a baby dragon. And I did not pick out a name for this guy. Well, knowing what I'm going to make it, let's name it. We'll name it Kai. Like yokai. Which is fitting, because, you know, like monsters. Ah, wonderful, the Cave of North. A fitting name for a cave, I suppose. Now, the version I'm playing is the original Game Boy version, which does have quite, well, not like major differences from the Collection of Saga version, but I'll explain it as they come along. First and foremost, the Collection of Saga has a speed-up feature built in. And the emulator I'm using, BGB, I can speed it up like this, but the music is distorted. With the Collection of Saga, it doesn't. You can speed it up and have the music and sound effects still play as normal, which is super cool. I wonder if that's the Cave of North. Couldn't be, right? Oh, bye. Sviskara, my sweetie, be sure to behave yourselves and please goods. She, like, crawls under the bed so she doesn't have to talk to her son. The Medusa there, you know, having given birth to a robot. What about you, Madam Butterfly? You see, that one makes sense. A monster, you know, giving birth to a monster. And monsters change quite frequently, so it's not even like it's weird that a butterfly gave birth to a dragon. Yeah, that makes sense. And like any good RPG mom, she offers us a nice little snoozle. Ah, one bed, huh? Do you think Dad just, like, snuck out in the middle of the night, or if he had his own bed, or, like, they just share a twin-size bed? Do you think Aerie has to hear her parents getting it on at night? That's unfortunate. I imagine a lot of things are going on outside. You know, it's like the great Jimmy Neutron once said, outside is where the Civil War was held. Hey, and we get a cure potion. Not bad. That'll be very handy because with this setup, we don't get curative spells for, I was going to say a while, but not necessarily. We could get it pretty quick. But I'll explain as it becomes pertinent. Oh? Hey, Mr. S! Wonderful! And a random battle right away with 4 Jaguars! Jesus! Alright, so, welcome to the battle system. So, like I said before, the way that mutants gain well, I don't think I actually explained it before. Well, it's kind of like Final Fantasy II, if you've heard the legends about that. Saga's whole thing is the actions you take in battle will determine what stats you get. So if Aerie uses Flame here, she has a chance of gaining mana. Robots and little monsters here don't get that. They gain stats in different manners. So, not super important. Holy shit, that's a lot of damage. Yeah, you see how it said that that we dealt damage to a group? You can press B and you can talk to Mr. S there. The number that's next to a big group of enemies like this, like see, there's a group of 2 Jaguars. It means that even though it looks like there's just 1, there's actually 2 there. It's kind of like like early Phantasy Star in that regard. And Mr. S is basically like totally like fray. Like, Jiminy Christmas, the encounters are bad today. It's like totally free. Like, you will, you basically can't die so long as you have that. Hey, wow, we already got HP. Nice. I'm gonna go back and heal because I kind of feel like we got our asses handed to us really fast. So one of the first things I'm going to explain about the differences in Collection of Saga is there were a lot of text changes. You could call it censorship. I don't necessarily agree with that. I'd say edits for a more modern era. But Colts, as you can see, that's a brand of gun, from what I understand. A brand name of gun, you know, they didn't want to keep, they probably had to pay some hefty royalties for that, so... It's just called Pistol in the collection of Saga. Did I say collection of mana earlier? I might have. But the way Colts work is that they hit really hard, but they have a wide range of damage. Like, you could do, like, 50, like... I'm gonna give exact numbers here and probably be totally wrong about it. Like, let's just say, like, 50 to 150 to be safe. Like, that's a conservative estimate. And they're also really inaccurate. It's like 66 or something like that. I can pull up the exact numbers in the next episode. Cool. Wonderful. Alright, what I'm going to do here, because the way that shields work, it's not like in a standard RPG where you just... Like, let's say I put it on air, like, it's in her inventory. I give it to Aerie, and then she gets defense. That's not how shields work in this game. This is essentially the defend command. And what that means is, you use it, it loses one of its durability points, so if I use it, it'll go down to 49, and my defense is drastically increased for that turn. You can gain defense by doing that, but it's really slow. Agility kinda serves a similar purpose, I'll explain later. And if you're doing it on a human, they have a much lower chance of getting it. Like, I think a human only has a 1 in 256 chance to gain defense by doing that. Trying to remember how to hand, Give me just a second. Oh, duh, there we go. So we equip it, we go into the inventory, and all that stuff I just said doesn't count for robots. They gain stats by equipping gear. As you can see, Toki's HP also went up a little bit. So they'll gain, like, weapons. I keep hitting circle trying to run because I was playing Golden Sun earlier. There's no run in this game. They'll gain HP and stats based on what they equip. What this means is that they're kind of similar to how humans work in 1, where their stats are essentially money-locked. But there's a lot of good gear that you can find here, too, so, you know, you got plenty of options. And the whole reason I go for 2 robots is because there's so much gear, in fact, that, like, 1 inventory doesn't really handle it all. I feel like I needed 2 robots to do it. And so, ooh, Aerie's not looking too hot here. But I can fix that. You ready for this? We got a curative spell, baby. Boom! Shoot a Jaguar. Miss a Jaguar. Get really hurt by a Jaguar. Now, mutants are slower to gain abilities, so it's possible there might need to be some grinding in order to get everything I need. Also, I'm going to move Aerie down because the order that these are in will determine aggression. Toki will be more likely to be hit if he's up front. But Toki also has much better defense than Aerie does, and she's getting her butt kicked. So let's not have that happen. Now you could do a bunch of grinding here, but early on, stats are going to be slow going no matter what. Because enemies in the game have levels, and all the enemies here are level 1. And against level 1 enemies, you have a much harder time gaining stats, and the pool that mutants can gain, the available, like, learn pool of abilities that mutants can gain are pretty low, and not necessarily anything great. Alright, let's equip this bow onto Toki, and his agility went up, which is great. Because what I'm going to do for Toki is going to be the agility bot, and I'm going to make Squiscar here the strength bot. Colts don't rely on stats at all. They have like I said, that damage range, that's fixed. No matter how strong Gar gets, Colt is always going to do in that damage range. Which is actually really good early on, because you can do much better damage with guns than you can deal with, like, a hammer per second. Per se, rather. I don't know why I said per second. Ah, I thought I was going to be fighting a dude. Now, you might notice that... Like, here, let's go back. You saw that the hammer originally had 50 charges, and now it only has 25. What's up with that? Well, when a robot equips something, its maximum charges go down by half while it's equipped. So let's just say that thing had 50 charges, now it's down to 25. But, unlike if a human or a mutant uses it, if we rest at the inn, those charges will be replenished. So, you get fewer uses, but it essentially makes it last, whatever it is, last forever. Which is amazing. Which is why I think a 2-robot party, it does take a little more grinding for cash sometimes, but... I'd say it's pretty good. It means your mutants or humans can take the opportunity to get more stats. And all your great gear you don't have to say goodbye to. Never! Oh, a baby worm. Would you love it if it was still a worm? Now, the baby worm is actually a much strong... Not a much stronger. I think it's a level 2 enemy. So what I want is, I'm going to hope that Aerie can get her turn in. Yes! Because now that she's got that in against a level 2 enemy, especially that, she has a higher chance of getting mana. There you go! Her mana went up! Stellar! That's not a sure thing early on. But let's take a look at her stats real quick, like. Yep, up to 7 mana. It's going to be a little slow going at first, but she's rapidly going to get stronger as time goes on. Really, they all are. Now, a lot of the time when the NPCs talk to you, they're mostly just going to talk to whoever is out in front. Like, Aerie's responding, but like, Toki, you have to do this. It's kind of annoying. So, like, if your main character isn't a robot... Dad! If your main character isn't a robot doing this, like, maybe it'll take you out of the experience, but I don't know. I probably should have had Mr. S heal me beforehand, because the way that healing works at inns, it's not like a fixed cost. Like, let's say you go into the first inn in Golden Sun, and it's like 8 GP for a room. That's not how this works here. Every bit of damage you take, that's 1 GP. 1 GP, 1 HP. And that's kind of pricey early on. Not that I have a choice, so whatever. Just have to do some grinding. Look at that, Dad's here and our adventure's over. Oh. I don't know what that means. I just want my dad back. Anyway, now we can go to the bar. You know, we're a bunch of children going into a bar. Pillar of Sky is holding the sky. Explorers of Sky? No. Ah, wonder if we can get up there anytime soon. Ashura, huh? I mean, aren't we all looking for Magi? Cool, glad to know. If a ripoff, I'm a little young. Now, I'm not going to do that here because it's entirely useless here, but in future bars, 10 GP will get you a nifty little hint on maybe where to go next. It's very nice. I'm going to save the state here, because what we're going to do is check out the jukebox. And for 1 GP, you can change it into pretty much every song in the game, including the actual final boss theme, which is interesting. I think it's funny. But I think it, like, stays until, like, you turn the game off, too, so I'm not gonna deal with that. Key, huh? Shrine of Assis is to the west. Keep that in mind, too. Oh, those Jaguars... Jaguars... Those Jaguars, Ashura's pets? Yep. Wow, that's pricey. We could get some more curative potions, which I might actually... Yeah, you know what? Let's get 1. Because now that means we've got, like, 8 total charges, which will be good, because we're about to go into a dungeon. Now, here's one thing I really want to explain. We're gonna grab, let's just say, 3 gloves here. Because look, equip a glove, her defense goes up. Look at that. It's like actual armor. But because it's the hand, like armor that goes in your glove slot is generally like weaker. Helmets are great, and then chest plates are obviously the best, but they cost a lot more. For robots, that's not how that works. You can equip as much as you want, like you can only equip one glove on a human or a mutant because, you know, they've got one hand slot. If I wanted to, I could empty out all of Toki's inventory here and totally fill him with bronze gloves. And that's what I'm going to do right here. Because the way robots work is they don't care what like piece of armor it is. They only care about what the material is. So bronze gives 2. If I give it a bronze chest plate, which is more, 2. So load up your dudes with really cheap armor, and Toki can basically just be entirely invincible. I'm gonna buy a couple more. Because I feel like 3 should be good, because I don't want to waste all his inventory spots. Because I'm obviously going to have to get him some weapons soon. But now look at that. The 2 people up front are basically entirely invincible. You really can't beat that. And gold would be nice, but 3400 GP is probably not happening this early on. I will also want to give Aerie a bronze helmet. There, now she's looking a little better. And Kai cannot equip armor. Cannot equip weapons, cannot equip armor. You are entirely at the mercy of your skill set. But monsters make up for that by having pretty good stats and abilities. Like, if you know what you're doing with a monster, they're really good. But if you don't, they can be dead weight. So, hammer, whatever. Bow. If a mutant or a human uses it, its agility can go up. The user, not the bow. The bow's agility cannot go up. But it uses your agility for damage calculations. This is why I think agility is probably a better skill than strength, because a lot more goes into agility, like evasion, turn order. But strength is just strength. Like, strength is entirely, can I beat this dude with a hammer? Bow with agility is like, cool, I'm shooting this, I'm getting agility, I'm super strong now, and you can't hit me, and I'm also going first. It's like a 5-year-old playing on the playground, LARPing, like, oh, I have this superpower that can do everything. So make everyone agility tanks. It's just like Final Fantasy II. And yet I'm still gonna make Squiscar the power bot, because there's still a lot of good strong power gear that's strong and good. Also want to buy a... Yes, I want a Rapier. Because that's an agility-based weapon. Long swords are strength-based, if I'm not mistaken. Whips use strength, but boost agility... No, it's weird. Like, it boosts agility on robots. They're pretty good, but it uses strength or something weird like that. The Psychic Knife here is a mana-based thing, so it's actually not too bad for your mutants. Robots do not ever get mana, so there's really... Like, they get less when you cast healing spells on them, they take more damage from magic. So that's their big downside. Like, I've been hyping up robots this entire time. Robots are not invincible death gods. They have a drastic drawback. But it's not as bad as you'd think. And punch and kick are martial arts skills. They're completely useless when you first get them, but the more you use them, the stronger they get. And eventually, like, the final charge, like, deals, like, a gigantic amount of damage, but, like, it just takes forever to get that going. So, I'm not going to. Look at that. +4 agility. That's stellar. Plus, I won't be super reliant on the cult anymore. So Toki right now, and plus look at Toki's fucking HP. Like, he's... Right now, he's the invincible death god. Like, I could solo the rest of... Well, no, I'll explain that as it becomes pertinent. Eri and Kai are kind of getting left in the dust. And Kai is going to be a little useless, because I'm not going to transform Kai for not quite a while, but a while. So where to next, huh? The Shrine of Assis in the West sounds interesting. So why don't I take you there next time on Let's Play Final Fantasy Legend 2. Thank you so much for watching. Have yourselves a wonderful day. And take care.